I feel like we're in this transitionary phase, whether that be with technology, with the old technology coming out and new technology coming in, and with personnel coming in. The legacy employees are starting to, retire if they're lucky. The legacy employees are starting to, retire if they're lucky. The legacy employees are starting to, retire if they're lucky. And the new ones are starting to come in. And I think that a lot of...
Hi, Eric. It's Lynn. Eric, Brian called. He's over at Amy still trying to do whatever he's trying to do. And apparently he's confused on what time we're supposed to meet and where we're supposed to meet. Are we supposed to go to Paul's? Are we supposed to go to your place? Are we supposed to go to the restaurant? And the time. It would be better if you called me with this information. Oh, excuse me. Since Brian's going to be calling me back. End of message. To erase this message, press 7 to save it.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you buy, sell, manufacture, distribute, or just simply dig fasteners, well, this is the podcast for you, and we're glad you clicked in, everybody. How are you? Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined by my coach-slinging partner, Mr. Brian Musker. How are you, Bri?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Glad to hear it.
Yep.
Well, the year is humming along, and we're coming into some excellent events. Just got through a few. We're going to cover a lot of that on today's episode, and the screw continues to turn in the fastener industry, everybody, and we're going to discuss that on the show today as well. This edition 93 of Fully Threaded Radio, and we're publishing on May 26th, 2015.
Right.
Yeah, Brian, there's lots of surprises in the industry. They just keep coming, from personnel changes to acquisitions and unexpected events.
Well, it's probably just as well. I mean, we've been told that we've got to keep the industry really exciting and vibrant in order to attract people into it, so this is one way.
Yes, we've been commanded. We legacy employees.
Yeah, from one legacy employee to another, yeah.
Virtually mere spectators of this great industry.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I've been sidelined already, but I've probably been sidelined before, so it's not the first time.
Well, I think we're going to do a good job of it on today's episode, and we're going to begin in our first segment with a conversation with Frank Devito, he of Solution Industries. He'll sit in with us and make comments on this and that as we talk our way through the above-mentioned topics. During our feature segment today, we're going to be joined by RL English and NCFA President Marty Nolan. Been a while since he's joined us. He's going to recap with us part of the North Coast Fastener Association social panel discussion that we drove. That, of course, included you, Brian, as well as Bob Baer of Abbott Interfast and Ryan Kertis of Young Fastener Professionals and Stelfast. Plus, we've got the Fastener News Report and the Fastener Training Minute with Carmen Vertullo. So it's going to go pretty quick, I think, and I hope everybody sits back and enjoys the show. And, of course, we have several great sponsors supporting us in this endeavor today, don't we?
Oh, we have some really good ones, okay. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, and the Lindstrom family of companies. Stelfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right. And Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio, Buckeye Fasteners, Volt Industrial Plastics, Fastenal, InSequel Software, ND Industries, the Worth Group, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Men. Thanks to all of you, okay? Appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Thanks indeed. And just to let you know, if you're listening in, sponsors, we regard you as partners as well. So thanks so much. And thanks to all of you for listening into Fully Threaded Radio. We always look forward to receiving your comments and your feedback. So please don't hesitate. Get with us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. You can also reach out to us via Twitter, the handle fullythreaded.
Right.
Hey, before we get this Fastener Go-Go machine going, a couple of housekeeping tips. Everybody is looking forward, I think, to Fastener Tech 15.
I would think so. We are, certainly.
And if you're attending Fastener Tech, or you weren't planning on it, and now that we've mentioned it, you are coming, which, let's face it, we hope. We invite you all to attend a panel discussion that we're putting on. It's a redux of the NCFA Social event that we put on, and it's going to have a little bit of a different flavor to it. We'll change it up just a bit. So if you attended the NCFA edition, this will bring you some new insights. But that's going to happen Tuesday, June 9th, and this is all taking place at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Our event will be happening from 8:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Tuesday, June 9th. Please do make it. And that's right before the show floor opens, so it's conveniently set up, conveniently timed. And boy, bro, I'm looking forward to you dazzling us once again with your spellbinding prognostications and analysis.
I wouldn't put it quite that way, but you do have to make sure you get breakfast and all that stuff out of the way so you can get to the convention center on time, okay?
Correct. The second point I'd like to make before we get going is that we mentioned on a previous episode, we, again, big supporters of the Fastener Training Institute, are holding our second annual Fastener Training Week Scholarship. So this is being put on by Fully Threaded and the FTI. And the winner of the scholarship contest will receive a full week tuition to that at the location and date of their choice. They have several offerings around the country. All you need to do to have a shot at that scholarship is to send us at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com a 250 to 300 word essay about why you think that this will help your career, how it'll help your career, and it goes without saying that you need to be a member of the fastener industry to participate. Frankly, why would you enter if you weren't?
You might want to become.
That's right. Well, the deadline for this is September 15th, and we're going to make the announcement of the winner again at this year's Bourbon Room Bash at the NIFS conference in Las Vegas. That happens in October. So we look forward to another fine crew of submissions. Last year, the FTI awarded, I don't know if you'd call them consolation awards, but they issued to all participants some vouchers for webinars. So
Right.
Even if you don't win the main scholarship, there's still reason to participate, and look forward to starting to receive those. The lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey, along with our membership coordinator, Sue Rice, will be the judges on those, and they are very conscientious women, and they will, I think, make the best call once again.
Right. And we also look through them, but we aren't the ones who decide.
Once again, make your submissions to the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. May the best candidate win.
Right. We like plenty of entries, okay? The harder the better. That's what we thrive on, okay?
I think that's obvious to all Fully Threaded listeners, Bri.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be continuing on this.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with Frank Devito.
They're like more cowbell for the fastener industry. Brian and Eric. Fully Threaded Radio.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Looking for packaged fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com, featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in packaged quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South, and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
You probably know that Lindstrom is an industry leader in metric fasteners. And there's a good chance you know we recently expanded to provide a wide range of high-grade inch fasteners. But what you probably don't know is that Lindstrom has made a serious commitment to earn your socket business. How serious? Well, let's start with 11,000 products. Announcing Lindstrom's expanded line of socket products, including socket head cap screws, flat head socket cap screws, button head socket cap screws, socket shoulder screws, and more. Plain, plated, or patched, in a full range of inch and metric sizes. Special lengths and thread pitches available through in-house fabrication. Always packed to your specification. Lindstrom, flexibility, choice, and value at every turn. Here for everything distributors need. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded line of socket products, visit LindstromSockets.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-328-2430.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems, some with the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSqueakWell.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQL.
Yes, with InSQL, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSQL, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
This is Josh Glazer with Glazer & Associates, glazerbolt.com, your full line online source for fasteners. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, your online fastener amigos, back with you. Doing all right, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Back in Illinois, everything's cool.
Great to hear from all of our sponsors, and it was great to see a lot of them at the North Coast Fastener Distributor Social last week. You were looking pretty good there, Brian.
I know, but it's pretty normal for me. Even though I'm not referred to as the fashion maven, unlike Bob Baer. Okay?
Sorry about that, Brian. He kind of took the crown. He was looking good. That's Bob Baer of Abbott Interfast. He was on the panel along with Ryan Kertis of Stelfast. And we'll talk a lot more about that during our feature segment. The panel discussion at the Distributor Social was a great success this year. I'd like to thank everybody who participated and everybody who attended.
Yep.
Joining us on this segment is another guy who was at the Distributor Social. I'd like to welcome Frank Devito of Solution Industries with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show. It's always good to be here. They tell me after Fully Threaded Radio, it's the Jimmy Fallon show next. So I don't. I hope that's lined up for me. But there's already a Devito in Hollywood, so I gave him. I took the higher road and decided to go into fasteners. But
right on.
But, yeah, with a name like that. But you could say that it's Jimmy Fallon, and then you come to Fully Threaded.
Yeah, that's right. We could switch that around as well. So he was the stepping stone for Fully Threaded at that point, you know.
I think that's a first for the podcast.
Yeah, we got to get this stuff right, okay?
Well, we had a blast at the Distributor Social this year, and it was good to see so many Solution Industries people there. I don't think there's probably in the fastener industry an array of people with more imaginative facial hair. That's for sure.
The funny thing is he shaves his head, you know, and he's got this big long beard. That's Ben, one part of our warehouse crew there, and he's a great young prospect for us. It's hard to get good people, and he's don't judge him by his appearance at that point. Kind of what Yosemite Sam looking if he would part the beard there a little bit, but he's a good young up-and-comer for us, does a great job for us back there.
Well, Ben's one guy, but I'm telling you, the whole crew, everybody's got a different look, and it's just great. There was a funny event that happened recently when the North Coast went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and they had comedy night, and the gentleman that you were just discussing, Ben, was in the audience, and he got into it with the comic, and they went back and forth, and I'm telling you, there were about 80 fastener people at this event, and they were just in stitches. I mean, it was going back and forth, and of course the subject was facial hair, but in this case it was more than that. I mean, they were going back and forth. It was hilarious. You guys have a great crew over there at Solution Industries, and everybody's got, seems, in addition to great facial hair, a great sense of humor.
I think, you definitely have to have a sense of humor here. It comes your way, so it gets easy to fling it as well, you know, but when you're in the environment, it's a very fun, relaxed atmosphere. You know, just regular people enjoying what we do. We do have a big turnout. We believe in getting our young people out there. We've pushed to get younger. Structurally, we're built for the future at that point. I mean, young people are our future. So if we can take the time to groom them into the industry and get them essentially how to be professional and carry themselves well, and it's a big benefit. Young people, they bring a lot of energy. Sometimes you got to harness it, but if you can harness it in a effective way, I think it's fantastic. Older guys like me, we can get to the sidelines a little bit and catch a breath, but you can't on the youth side of things. It helps to have that energy if you can just give them a little guidance and let their minds wander and create. It's fantastic. It really is.
It's a bit of a problem when you're in a panel and you're referred to as a legacy person.
Yeah, we're legacy employees here.
Yeah, I realized. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even legacy status. Don might let me take the garbage out once in a while here. So,
legacy is definitely way past where I thought I was. I thought I could have been at least, someone who might be in their late 80s or something. But legacy seems like you're circling around the coffin.
Well, we're going to have to find a way to work with it. Now, speaking of legacies, I'd like to congratulate Marty Nolan and the entire board of the North Coast Fastener Association for pulling off this year's Distributor Social, because this was the 7th annual. I think it's standing out as an example of what fastener events should be and can be, and I think it's going to keep getting better. So congratulations all on that. The day began for us with a tour of the ND Industries plant in Twinsburg, Ohio. I thought that was fascinating. I have never been in quite that type of a facility. Have you, Bri?
No, it's good to see, and a lot of fun. It was actually very good, and I learned all sorts of things. Okay.
It's a good event. We sent a lot of people. Just again, congratulations to Marty. The social is a great event, I think. It's relatively inexpensive. They do offer plant tours, and it gives you a better look at what processes are being done. You can send a lot of people. It's a relaxed environment. You don't have to carry a lot of luggage. I'd encourage anybody who's hasn't participated in it to come. We had multi-state. You have multi-people coming from multi-states, and just a good opportunity to meet people, build partnerships, and I would encourage anybody to go to that on the distribution side or supply side. I think it's a fantastic event, and I agree with you. It's going to grow and grow and grow. There's been a kind of a vacuum in Ohio when the Columbus show had left, and I think this is kind of stepping up and filling that void.
Oh yeah, and it's also important to get out and see, another fastener, manufacturer or another fastener company, just to see maybe they do things different, and maybe they do some things better, and otherwise you always only see one side of it. So I think it's important to go and have a look at how things work. And for Eric and I, who are removed from all that stuff, it's great to see it.
And it's good for the young people as well, learning, and a lot of things you just think, it shows up on the shelf and that's what it is. But there's the process to it, and getting groomed in the industry. They always told us, go look at the parts, feel them, touch them, so you know what you're talking about. And I think that just adds to that as far as our industry is it's not something you just come into and everything tomorrow. You've got to go through those experiences. You got to touch, feel, and over time you get that experience, and that's the way to do it, and this event allows you to do that. So again, congratulations to Marty and the rest of the crew out there.
Yeah, now there's only one change I would suggest, which is the fact that not everyone in the fastener industry, and particularly the hosts of Fully Threaded Radio, do not fit into the category of either distributors or suppliers. A problem so serious that since no one could decide whether anyone from Fasteners Clearinghouse was a distributor or supplier, they couldn't issue us any free drink coupons.
That was a problem.
That was a serious problem. Lynn actually, lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey at one stage gave up and walked out to the bar and bought a drink, okay?
I wish she would have come over to me. We could have taken care of that in a second. But good point, Brian. And we're just finding our place in the world. That's the way it is. Now, speaking of finding your place in the world, let's refresh everybody's memory, Frank. We had you on the podcast several episodes back with Don Shan when you were coming on the Solution Industries team. How did you yourself cut your teeth in the industry?
I started a company called Parts Associates. I was 17 years old, summer help, and I was on the shipping line. I just continued to learn what I could. They moved me to the receiving department, and eventually I did inventory control, and then we went to purchasing. So I had a purchasing background, and I went into customer service a little bit, and I just grasped as much as I can on that side of things, and kind of strolled over that. And then they had sold out, and about 9 years into it, and then I went over to Porteous Fasteners again. Started on the desk there at that point. Kind of moved into operations manager and branch manager, and then out on the road, and ended up for 10 years at Porteous, branch manager of Cleveland, and then towards the end there, the New Jersey facility. So again, just experience at that point to learn, and again, going back, I know you talked a little bit about the young professionals, and that can be later down in the show, but I can't emphasize enough for young people to just learn everything you can, and just suck it all in, and that's how you're going to do well in this industry, in my opinion. It's been fantastic. 20 years now, 21 years going on, so it should, just the experience alone, I think, helps. I mean, you're not just going to come in and start and know fasteners tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way,
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah, in fact, I was discussing with the guy who was on our panel from Stelfast, Ryan Kertis. He worked for Porteous in New Jersey too, I think.
He was correct. He was with us a little while, and he had left a little bit sooner before I took over the branch out there. But
okay.
I did meet him a couple times when I was out in Jersey.
Okay.
Nice young man for sure. Again, the young people coming in, they just can't encourage them enough to continue to, again, even if it's not directly your jobs, I would encourage you to still do it and work at just the aspects. So when you get into situations, as you move up as your career, you understand those aspects of warehousing, shipping, receiving, sales, purchasing, and you put all those tools in your belt, and you can be a contributing, committed person to our Fastener community. I think it's fantastic to get involved in all the events. We're big on that, obviously, and some of our young people serve on the panel and the board, and it's a good industry. I enjoy it, and there's a lot of good people in it for sure.
Well, that sounds like excellent advice. Now, on the subject of Porteous, it seems like every time you have a in-depth conversation about fasteners, the name always comes into the mix. Recently, the Pac West Association had their spring conference that I believe was April 23rd and 24th. There were all kinds of photos out there on Twitter that I saw. Brian, you wouldn't have caught these.
What was that?
Okay. And among them was a great shot of a whole bunch of people standing out on the veranda at the Andy Cohn residence, or should I say the Andy Cohn Palace. But it looked like they were having a great time at the reception, which was held at his new residence.
Yeah.
And standing right there in the mix was Mr. Barry Porteous. And I believe I read a blurb somewhere that the Porteous brothers were made or inducted, if you want to use the term, lifetime honorary members of the association. So that was quite an honor that was bestowed upon them, and rightly so.
Yeah. Cool.
I'd agree with that. I had 10 years working for Barry and Bob. Fantastic family, fantastic company. Great to work for. Truly miss them at this point, but they deserve all accolades at that point of what they get. I think they're good for the industry for sure.
Yep.
Very grateful for my time there. But it's kind of funny though. You like you said, you always hear the Porteous, and then that point, if you talk to somebody in the changing times, less than 18 months in the industry, you say, "Well, what's your background?" I was working Porteous. They say, "Who?" At that point, it's amazing how times move, and then like I said, very grateful there. But as the industry has changed so quickly, over the last couple of years. You have to adapt and move through it and survive in those conditions, or you can be an older company quick,
That's right. Becoming a legacy employee very quickly.
Yeah, that's right.
We've become legacy people in a very short time.
Well, it looked like a great event out there in Long Beach in April. I got several messages from our good friend Robert Lopez. And he, of course, of specialty sales on the West Coast, and he kept me abreast of what was happening out there. It sounded like the tabletop event was extremely successful, and again, that's another example of something that is really going the right direction in the fastener industry in terms of an event, and the team out there always does a great job. Rick Peterson, the president currently of Pac West, congratulations on your event, folks.
Yep.
Now, turning the subject briefly, gentlemen, I wanted to know if either of you had opinions on the headline that came out recently. I advised you about this. AmazonSupply.com is no longer.
Well, my opinion is that who knows what Amazon is trying to do, but my view was that the Amazon Supply, especially as it came to fasteners, was... I'm sure people used it. I tried it at one stage, very definitely, and I could never find the actual item I was looking for. They've got the sizes so muddled up, and they decide what they need is some mechanism that's like the scrubber to help them sort through all the crap that they had there.
Oh, you tempt me. But before we pile on, it was kind of a trick question because AmazonSupply.com is going away. However, it is immediately being replaced with something called Amazon Business. And this is according to Industrial Distribution Magazine. They put out an article back on April 28th. For anybody who wants to read it, it's online. And we've been keeping an eye on Amazon and what they're doing in the fastener industry. And a lot of people have kind of considered it a big yawn. We asked about it in the Fastener Distributor Index supplemental question a few times. And nobody really seemed that interested in it. But we've been watching. And I don't know. As you just said, Brian, I think they can definitely use some changes to their search interface. But anytime you say Amazon, I think any distributor is kind of got a secret cold chill going down their back.
On my side of things, I'm not an online buyer. I'm kind of I like to see it, touch it, feel it, that kind of thing. But I guess I really never, call me old-fashioned, grasp the concept. If I'm a contractor or whoever and I need a fastener, I'm generally running on a smaller side to Home Depot, Lowe's type thing, or my fastener distributor, hardware store, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a now thing, so to have to wait and order something online, as America gets, anxious about waiting for the microwave 2 minutes for your food to, get heated up, the idea of waiting 24 hours for a fastener to do a project doesn't seem to fit the model. I guess I'm not quite sure the market that they're trying to drive at that point. So, again, call me old-fashioned at that side of things, but I'm just not sure what they're trying to gain on that side of things. What market, are they trying to reach at that point?
Well, it's a wide market, but it's not only, in terms of fasteners, it certainly is much more than just the home handyman. I mean, there you can go and buy grade 5 and structural bolts on Amazon's supply or Amazon Business. It's they're aiming to get right into companies. That's their aim. There's a slight problem because they ultimately, in some of the stuff, you need to deal with a distributor to make sure that what you're buying is correct and certified and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little more complex than probably they thought originally, but, I'm sure there's people who learn the hard way, okay?
I guess if you throw enough money at it, maybe it'll be successful, right? Is that how generally, if you have it and you can make it work that way, maybe it'll be successful on that side of things.
Well, I mean, they've got a pretty good track record. I mean, as we noted at the conference, every single minute that goes by, Amazon takes in 80,000 orders. Well, that's a lot of orders, okay? Sure. A lot of people use Amazon, and they just not as many people use it for buying nuts and bolts.
Sure.
Well, it's a point well taken, though, Frank, because a lot of people don't know what to make of all of it, and I guess the jury's still out, but if you can throw enough money at it and lose enough money for long enough, and I guess we have other examples of that in the fastener industry, I won't say more, you can do a lot of things, and people who know what Amazon is all about know that they have one or two business units that are making money while others are hemorrhaging.
Right.
And that's a great luxury to have. I wish we had that luxury, but and that's not to take anything away from what they're doing. That's just the way they're set up. So we'll stay tuned, but keep in mind, folks, AmazonSupply.com. Bye-bye. Amazon Business. Watch out. Coming to a drone near you.
Yeah, right.
Now, here we are talking the legacy employees that we are about all of this highfalutin technology. Frank, do you read magazines on your smartphone?
Unfortunately, I don't have a smartphone. I'm still the flip phone era, hence my ignorance of Amazon at that point, But I can text, but that's more or less for my daughter at that point. She likes to text, but I'm old fashioned. I pick it up on the phone. That's kind of how us old fogies, I guess. Legacies. Can we call ourselves legacies, Brian, at this point? Or at least me.
No, we don't call ourselves legacies. Apparently, younger people do.
Right.
Okay?
Brian's kicking and screaming into the future.
Yeah, right.
Well, the reason I ask is because Link Magazine, of course, everybody's favorite fastener industry monthly, or actually it's a bi-monthly, isn't it, has released an app for the smartphone. If you read Link Magazine, you can now get it online. Actually, you've been able to get it online for a while, but now you can get it on your smartphone with the dedicated Link Magazine app. I downloaded this thing after I saw it advertised on Twitter, and it's nice. I like magazines. I like to hold a physical magazine in my hand. Of course, I'm not using one of these mega screens like you have, Brian. I don't know. Do you consider your smartphone a phone still, or is it just a mini laptop? What do you call that thing you carry around?
I have an iPhone 6 Plus. It is a phone, though I use it as a news reading device mainly.
Does it fit in your shirt pocket?
With great difficulty.
And they still didn't make it waterproof, did they?
No, but that's all right. That's all right. I did need waterproof things because I ruined a phone by leaving it outside, but hey, I thought about it a lot. I realized that I used either Waze to navigate, or I read news on my phone for about 6 hours a day, and I used it as a phone once or twice or 3 times. So clearly the phone was secondary.
So you don't get many phone calls? Is that what you're saying?
No, no. Well, us legacy people, we don't get no one needs to communicate with us that often. All our ideas are too old, I guess.
Got it. And I don't even want to talk to you, Frank. I mean, maybe I'll call you on the landline one of these days, and we can talk about the latest episode of Starsky and Hutch.
Right. Actually, Frank, it must be. I mean, I had a flip phone for a while, and texting is really a chore on those things. Every button you got to push 3 times to get a letter.
That's why I call, and I'm not quite to the Starsky and Hutch here. I'm still in the Andy Griffith black and white type stuff, so we're still getting there, but it's definitely a struggle technology wise for me. I think it's a necessity. I mean, there's no question it's a necessity, but you look somebody in the eye and give them a firm handshake and do what you say you're going to do. I think that goes beyond communication through email, Twitter, that kind of stuff. So if you can go out, shake somebody's hands, give them a commitment, and regardless of what it is, doesn't have to be business or friendship at that point. I just think it's more of a real feeling than that, and I don't mean this in a negative way. Maybe hiding behind an email or those type of accounts, Twitter, however else is communicated on the social media side of things.
See, I never hide behind Twitter. I may cower, but I never hide.
Well, I quite frequently hide behind things because if people realize I was legacy, no one would bother to talk to me. So.
We have a couple of big gentlemen in the warehouse that I hide behind, after I deliver bad news,
With scary facial hair.
That's right, with scary facial hair is right, Yeah.
Well,
funny.
Wrapping that whole part of the conversation up, Brian, you can now use your enormous smartphone, if that's what you call it, and read Link Magazine with their new app. So, and Frank, I don't even know what to say to you. We'll talk about the Torino in Starsky and Hutch at length, in person, at a bar, getting to know each other even better with no electronic things to hide behind. How about that?
That works for me. I'm a step up over PBS at this point. I still have public TV.
Wow.
And you probably sponsor public TV too, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Just maybe my name. They don't want to see a picture of me. I might break the camera at that point. But
Well, I think anybody who's been in the fastener industry for long enough would agree with you, Frank, in principle that it is a hands-on business and people do like those relationships. Certainly, all of the modern social media and various electronic ways of communicating are embellishing things, but it really comes down to that personal touch. And among other things, that's something that Solution Industries is very good at.
It's what we promote. We're a build relationship type company. We're a little old-fashioned on that side. We do have the technical means, but we don't try to sell you what's on our shelf. We want to sell you what you need at that point, and getting to know your customer and getting to know, lead time, that type stuff. And the more information we know, the better we can help at that point, for sure. You can reach us pretty easy on the technical side at www.solutionind.com. Or we don't have voicemail, but you can give us a call at 440-816-9500, and we'll definitely give you a warm welcome and do the best to suit your needs at that point.
Of course, Solution Industries is a great longtime sponsor and friend of the podcast, and we certainly do appreciate that. Also like to point out that any of the Fastener dog sounds in the background while you were speaking, Frank, were not coming from the Solution side. They were, in fact, coming from Fully Threaded West, which is the Brian Musker office complex. Jack the Fastener dog at work.
Yeah, what I should say is that the Solution Industries actually does have a very cool website, and it is iPhone or smartphone friendly.
That's right.
As we found. Now, there's only one thing that I would say about that. If you look it up when you're driving, there's no way of getting the phone number on the phone version of the site.
We are redesigning the site, believe it or not. So there's a few things coming down the line for us. There's a new website coming. We got a product line and some surprises for the Vegas show, but I'll let Mr. Shan talk about those details. But I will let our IT department know, and they can get that corrected for sure.
Thank you.
No problem.
Frank Devito, Solution Industries, a pleasure to have you on the podcast once again. We look forward to seeing you at the next Fastener event. And Brian, keep control over that Fastener dog.
I will, yeah.
We'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Online Fastener Talk Radio. Hey, at least it kills time on long road trips. Fully Threaded Radio.
First, there was fire. And man said, "Fire, good." Then there was the wheel, and man said, "Wheel, good." With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners, and man loudly exclaimed, "Buckeye, good." Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman. Tell them Grog sent you. Ugh.
How do you make the top name in packaged fasteners even better? Combine it with one of the best-known names in the fastener business. Announcing that Titan Fasteners is now a proud part of Lindstrom. For more than 50 years, the Titan name has provided distributors with experience, technical expertise, and full customer support in every package that's shipped. For fastener needs in in-plant maintenance, industrial and construction, MRO and automotive, fleet, farm, building and grounds. Available by the box, keg, or pallet. Titan means packaged fasteners, and Lindstrom means choice, flexibility, and value. And together, we now offer more than 133,000 SKUs. For value-added fastener solutions in metric or inch, turn to Lindstrom and Titan Fasteners. To learn more about Titan Fasteners, visit TitanFasteners.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-789-8112.
Ah, Iowa. Field of dreams, Hawkeyes, corn, the only state that starts with 2 vowels, and the home of Trinity Hardware headquarters. What's so special about Trinity Hardware headquarters? How about the fact that offering 30,000 types of fasteners just wasn't enough variety? So they've added new lines of packaged clamps, rib neck carriage bolts, and plow bolts. And who doesn't need new plow bolts after this winter? Trinity Hardware headquarters also has over 600 cushioned clamps made in the USA by KMC, 18 sizes of ribbed neck carriage bolts, and over 40 sizes of plow bolt kits. And that's just the new stuff. They're still stocking their 400,000 square foot warehouse top to bottom with screws, nuts, bolts, washers, fittings, just about any fastener you could possibly need. And you can order 24/7 online from trinityhardwarehq.com. Or call 888-232-1010 anytime. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution Man can. Provide me with a print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the Distributor Social, huh?
Hi, this is Jeff Gagliano from CSM Fastener Products. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Hey, Brian, I just discovered there's no Mel Kirshner Open this year being run by the Pac West. That golf tournament apparently is not going to happen in 2015.
Oh, I think we've promoted it in years past, actually.
Oh, we certainly have with gusto. I called Vicki Lester recently, and she informed me that they decided to make it happen every other year. And so, in case you were wondering, folks, that's why we are not covering it. We are big supporters of that event and the Pac West in general.
Yes.
Well, at least it'll give the field a little chance to practice up against the awesome force of the truckies from Cal Fasteners and Team In Sequel, led by Bob Reynolds.
Yeah, and they will need to do plenty of catching up, on training, right?
Yeah, those guys seem hard to beat when their game is on and some of their injuries are taken away. I mean, they even do well when they're walking around in body casts.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, we've got the Fastener News Report coming up, but we had a couple of breaking topics that hit the news after we recorded with Mike McNulty. One of them involving one of our title sponsors and a longtime friend of the show, and that is Rob Lucas. Many of you know him as the proprietor of Fidelis Fasteners, and on May 22nd it was announced that he's joining Team Lindstrom, and he's going to be a VP of Business Development, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be able to continue our sessions with Rob Lucas then in a different role.
That's right. Not sure how he'll be leveraging his vast experience overseas, but I'm sure that was one of the reasons Lindstrom picked him up. So I think he and Mike Wren also have a history of working together back in the Heads and Threads days. Probably some good chemistry there. Anyhow, it was rumored, and so the official press release finally hit the wires. Another big change came out, the announcement that longtime IFI director Joe Greenslade is going to be retiring after 45 years in the fastener industry. The IFI will get some new blood in the way of Salim Brahimi. Many of you are familiar with him through the Fastener Training Institute.
Right.
You knew some change was going to be coming, but there it is. So that was being reported in Global Fastener News, and we'll have to have Salim on the program. I think we had a recording of him once before, but we've never really sat down to do an interview. I saw a seminar with him a couple seasons back at the NCFA, and that guy, I mean, he is a walking encyclopedia. It's amazing. And not only that, but he makes it interesting.
Even when he's talking about hydrogen embrittlement?
Well, especially, Brian.
Oh, that's what set you off on this great life-changing path.
Yeah, you were at that seminar too.
Yeah.
They were talking about the bridge out there in San Francisco Bay, and I'll tell you the detail that they understand this thing too. It's just incredible. So I'm sure he'll do a great job at the IFI, and as I understand it, he'll be continuing to conduct seminars with the FTI as well. So.
Okay, well, we have to make sure we get hold of him, because I noticed that the problems at the bridge in San Francisco are still continuing.
Well, it's not settled yet, that's for sure, although it's, I guess, off the main headlines in the mainstream media. But yeah, you're correct. So yeah, let's put that on the calendar. We just mentioned one of the title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio. Let's run them down again. We'd like to thank Stelfast, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fastener, for all their great support. We also have several sponsors, all of whom make this show possible. If you ever get a chance, folks, send your business their way. Thank you so much for listening, and get with us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. We always look forward to hearing from you. We're going to get to Mike McNulty on the Fastener News Report right now, and technical difficulties seem to be coming still in droves with us, Brian. On this edition of the Fastener News Report, we've got some amusing Skype background noises.
Relating to rain, is it? Or the dogs barking?
No, this time somebody was trying to patch in, I guess, and I did not hear it during the recording. Had I heard it, I would have done something about it or re-recorded, but it wasn't until I was doing post-production. If you're listening, don't worry. It only lasts a couple of minutes, and I think you can still get the content out, but oh boy.
Right. Yeah, all this stuff should be really easy. It's really difficult.
Yeah, well, we perfected our form some time ago, and then it all disintegrated. Now we're rebuilding it up. Such is life for a legacy employee, I guess.
Right, yeah. It's so hard for us to learn new things, too.
We'll let that one go. And now we're going to turn to a guy who could not attend this year's Distributor Social, but whose magazine, which is Fastener Technology International, was a much appreciated drink sponsor of the event. Here's Mr. Mike McNulty with the Fastener News Report.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. The all-fastener industry event in the heart of the fastener industry, also known as Fastener Tech 15, is less than 1 month away, so I am really focused on fasteners and ready to deliver to the Fastener News Report. In today's report, we're going to reveal the April results for the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have newsmaker headlines from Penn Engineering, the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, Shamrock International Fasteners, PacWest, Topi Fasteners, the Hillman Companies, Bassard North America, Grauer Metal, and Nordlock. And on the back page report, we're going to talk about corporate taxes. We will get to all of that and the FDI results for April right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
I need 5,000 3/4 10 by 9 and 3/4 grade 8 zinc yellow tap bolts right away, but they're not a standard size.
Solution Man Ken. I carry a wide variety of sizes and I can quickly cut them to any length. See Solution Industries' website for details at solutionind.com.
Using your bare hands?
I do use a saw in smaller parts, actually.
You're listening to Mike McNulty's Fastener News Report on Fully Threaded Radio.
In April 2015, the FDI stepped up to a seasonally adjusted level of 52.1, a nice increase after last month's 50.2 reading. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by the FCH Sourcing Network and the National Fastener Distributors Association, and it seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get the story on these positive results, we talked to NFDA President Paul Tiffany of Copper State Bolton Nut. Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Good morning, Mike. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we've got a increase, a decent size increase for April, which is actually the second highest recorded number of 2015, with the other one, the highest being the January results were 52.3. So we're hovering right around the growth line of 50.0 and higher, but it is good to see a positive result. What's your take on the results?
Well, it's, we've talked about it in previous discussions. We knew it was going to grow. We just didn't know the rate it was going to grow. We said that January, February, March, albeit a little bit low, would have good growth. But the feedback I'm getting from our distributors at the NFDA is that growth is going to slow a little bit. Still in a growing market, but just not aggressively as we've seen during February and March. So it's still a good sign of what the economy is going to do in 2015 and hopefully moving into 16. But there's a couple things that I think are going to slow it down, oil and gas being one of them. But the positive is that it's still going to be on the way up. I will go ahead and say that there's something in the report this week or this month that I thought I would never see, and I'm going to correct myself. I don't want my kids to hear this because I'm going to tell you I was wrong. But I never thought I would see that respondent inventories are too low.
Yeah, we did talk about that last month. we never expected
we did.
that
I think we said that you're never going to get a supplier to say that their inventory is too low, and you're never going to get a supplier to say their customers' inventories are too high. I stand corrected. This is the first time, at least in a year, that we have actually seen respondent inventories being too low. I believe part of it is when you look at supplier deliveries, obviously supplier deliveries are slowing, which is a good indicator that the economy is moving in the right direction. People are consuming their inventory. Suppliers typically coming out of a little bit of a slower growth period aren't able to keep up with demand. So I think all those correspond with one another. Again, all leading toward that we are in a growing economy.
And what I was going to comment on, the sales number was pretty high. It's the highest sales number we've had since November of 2014. So if the inventories were too low, maybe they just sold too much in April.
Correct. It's interesting when you look at the sales number. Again, we try to keep the pulse of the entire country's growth, but when you look at an individual or an aggregate industry, we're seeing growth. But when you speak to distributors around the country, some smaller sectors within that aggregate industry are actually slow. So it's really what is the feel of the frontline personnel versus the industry as a whole. I think the word that we're getting back is that we're going to see a lot of distributors who are really within one segment trying to grow within the industry.
Well, that seems like a good business strategy. And, I've heard things, same thing with oil and gas being down and automotive being up. So good idea to spread things around.
Yeah, broadening your customer portfolio at this time might not be a bad idea.
Okay. And then what are we seeing for the 6-month outlook?
Well, the 6-month outlook seems to be following what we're seeing with the trending of growth. When you have a 48% of respondents saying that it's going to be higher, 43 saying it's the same, and only 10% saying it's going to be lower, I think that follows the trend that it's going to grow, maybe not at the pace that we've seen. And the 10% more than likely are in those specific industries that are struggling.
Right. Yeah, I think it's boding well. We've been seeing the same thing every year. In fact, I think that 10% number is a little bit lower than it was last month.
I believe so.
All right. Well, that's good. We're growing, not as fast as we want, but different sectors are doing better than others. But it seems like it's all systems go, and we'll see what the summer months bring.
Yeah, expansion is always better than contraction, right?
That's right. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us and to talk about the FDI numbers again, and we'll look forward to talking to you in the month of June.
Mike, I appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the NFDA's annual meeting coming up in June. So I'll see you then.
All right. That was NFDA President Paul Tiffany of Copper State Bolton Nut. To participate in the FDI survey, visit www.fdisurvey.com. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Penn Engineering Automotive Fastener Company in Kunshan, China, has received the 2014 Pinnacle Award from Delphi Automotive. The award recognizes Penn for its contribution to Delphi's excellence culture and commitment to quality, value, and cost performance. In addition, Pete Beekerl has joined Penn Engineering as Vice President of Global Automotive. In this newly created position, Beekerl will work on international strategic initiatives for the company from its headquarters in Pennsylvania. The 35th National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, scheduled for October in Las Vegas, has grown to more than 530 exhibiting companies from 12 nations, including the USA, Canada, China, Germany, India, Italy, Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, Spain, Taiwan, and Turkey. Show Management is reporting 37 new exhibitors and growth in its machinery and tooling area, as well as with mill supply companies offering non-fastener products. Shamrock International Fasteners in Itasca, Illinois, has added Matt Benoist as its new Director of National Sales. He is tasked with optimizing Shamrock's commercial strategy, value proposition, and relationships with customers. He reports directly to Rob Wakulis, Shamrock's president. The PacWest Spring Conference and Tabletop Show held last month in Long Beach, California, enjoyed significant increases in attendance. Records were broken as 277 people participated in the Tabletop Show, which featured 64 exhibitors. Topi Fasteners, a subsidiary company of Topi Industries in Japan, is establishing a new company and factory in Mexico to manufacture and sell industrial fasteners. The Hillman companies based in Cincinnati, Ohio, have announced that James P. Waters will soon retire as CEO and as a member of the board of directors after nearly 16 years of service to the company. In connection with this transition period, the company has appointed Doug Cahill as executive chairman of the board as it actively seeks a new CEO. Sarah Malo, Vice President of Sales at Rotorclip Company in Somerset, New Jersey, reports that the company has added Brian Gordon as its new outside sales representative covering the great state of Ohio. Fastener Tech 15 exhibit sales have reached their highest level in 8 years, and additional booths have been added to accommodate continued demand. Also, online registration is now open at mwfa.net and fastenertech.com, including access to free exhibit and reception passes, as well as details on the educational and networking sessions. The show takes place this June at the Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois, located directly between the city of Chicago and the O'Hare International Airport and adjacent to several dining, shopping, lodging, and entertainment options. Bassard North America has earned recognition as a partner-level supplier for 2014 in the John Deere Achieving Excellence program. This is the highest supplier rating granted by Deere & Company in recognition of outstanding quality and continuous improvement. And our top Fastener Newsmaker headline is that Grauer Metal of Italy and the Nordlock Group of Sweden have entered into an agreement to manufacture wedge locking washers. The objective of this cooperation is to ensure future production capacity and continued technical development. Grauer Metal has developed and manufactured safety washers for more than 60 years, and Nordlock has been producing its safety washers for over 30 years. With this agreement, Nordlock has acquired the Grauer Twin Lock brand and Grauer Metal has agreed to supply wedge locking washers exclusively to Nordlock. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about corporate taxes. A white paper released by the National Association of Manufacturers and the Manufacturers Alliance for Productivity and Innovation Foundation concludes that the U.S. corporate tax system is a drag on global competitiveness. The paper says that most other countries that we compete with or trade with are lowering their rates, and that the current USA corporate tax systems puts many companies at a disadvantage. The net effective corporate tax rate in the USA is 40% when federal, state, and local taxes are considered. The global average is 23.6. Countries with lower rates include China, Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, Korea, the UK, France, and Brazil, all major trading partners. In fact, the USA holds second place globally behind the United Arab Emirates, who tipped the scales at 55%. Is it just me, or is this another example of below-the-radar stupidity? USA manufacturing is on the rise, automotive production is surging, China is contracting, and we are taxing ourselves to death. White House records show that in 2014, the USA collected a record amount of corporate taxes, more than $320 billion, which is 17% higher than the previous record set in 2013. Also in 2014, the federal government blew away records for personal income tax receipts, Social Security tax receipts, and excise tax receipts, all the while managing to overspend by almost $500 billion. We are just plain stupid. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at McNulty@FastenerTech.com.
NCFA President Marty Nolan joins us next on Fully Threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or Fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting Fastenal.com today.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Hey everybody, this is Carmen Vertullo from Carver Consulting with your Fastener Training Minute. Today I'm speaking to you from the ASTM F16 Fastener Committee Conference in Anaheim, California. You should listen for a report on that conference in a future program. Well, today's topics are structural bolting and vibration-resistant fastening. Interestingly enough, these two types of fasteners almost never cross paths, but that fact helps us in understanding them. The Fastener Training Institute has programs on both of these coming up, and John Wachman is going to tell you more about how to get involved in that. Here's John.
Thanks, Carmen. This is John Wachman for the Fastener Training Institute. I've just returned from the North Coast Fastener Association's Distributor Social in Independence, Ohio. Marty Nolan and his team produced another great and very well-attended event. FDI participated in this event as part of our support for regional fastener associations. The North Coast folks just announced that 10 of their members have been awarded grants to attend FDI product training webinars. FDI product training grants are a great way for fastener associations to provide educational benefits to their members. We are working with other fastener associations on ways to bring our training programs to more areas of the country. On June 2nd, Carmen Vertullo will be presenting his new structural bolting technology class. As new infrastructure programs take hold across the country, there are many opportunities for the fastener supplier. This class covers the key roles of each player in the supply chain of a bolted connection. The fastener manufacturer, local supplier, and installer must work together to anticipate and avoid any problems that can cause expensive job site delays. This class will be offered in La Mirada, California. For those of you attending Fastener Tech 15 in Chicago early this June, Benk Blendoff will be again presenting his Fastener Technology Workshop. This is always a very well attended and received program. On June 19th, our webinar series continues with Carmen Vertullo's vibration-resistant fasteners. Okay, now it's tight, but how to keep it that way? This is again new content, and it is perfect for a webinar. It is our normal interactive format with 60 minutes of presentation plus 30 minutes of Q&A. Our webinar following is ever growing and shows the need for high content, low cost, and convenient fastener training. Later in June, FTI and IFI will again co-produce our Aerospace Fasteners and Overview class in La Mirada, California. This 3-day class is part of our Advanced Continuing Education program. It is taught by Salim Brahimi and Lawrence Klaus, two of our industry's foremost experts and teachers. This class includes visits to aerospace manufacturers and processors. Please visit our website, fastenertraining.org, to see our complete schedule with class and registration details. Now back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Well, thank you, John. Let's get back to structural bolts and vibration-resistant fastening. Now, structural bolts are critical application fasteners for holding steel together in buildings, bridges, stadiums, dams, highways, and all other kinds of infrastructure. They do not generally have anything we would consider to be a locking or anti-vibration feature. What they do have is high tension on installation. And the best way to keep a tight bolt tight is to be sure it's properly tensioned during the installation. That's because bolts stretch like rubber bands when we tighten them, and the stretching action is what keeps them tight. Now, when we have a bolted joint or a screw that lives in a severe vibration environment, or it cannot be tensioned, then we need to help it out with a vibration-resistant feature of some sort. These vibration-resistant fastening strategies come in two broad categories: those which are described by a specification or a standard, and those which are special or proprietary. They both range from the very simple and common, such as split lock washers, nylon insert lock nuts, and anaerobic compounds, to the very exotic, such as special thread forms, multi-part lock nuts, and proprietary compounds for locking and sealing. Now, the Fastener Training Institute has programs on both of these topics. You can find out about them at fastenertraining.org. I encourage you to consider attending our webinars and our live presentations. Thanks for listening. This is Carmen Vertullo from Carver Consulting with the Fastener Training Minute.
Hi, this is Casey McElhon from McElhon & Associates, exhibiting at the 31st Annual Midwest Fastener Show, and I absolutely listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
All right, let's get this fandango going. Topic 1, where is the fastener industry today? Things I asked them to consider. Just ideas, they didn't have to touch on all of them. Note current FDI readings and recent merger and acquisition activity, which has resulted in a narrowing supplier environment. The arrival of new players on the supplier side. The proliferation of association groups. A new awareness of the importance of fastener-specific education in the industry. Also, try to consider the impact of events such as the West Coast port slowdown, the trend of increased web buying, and related. What does a snapshot of the fastener industry look like today, Mr. Bob Baer?
Thank you, Eric. Well, it seems only fitting that you put this together, that we start with the FDI. All of you are familiar with the index, I hope. If you're not, it's a really great tool. I would encourage you to get involved, participate in it. So, since the FDI was created in January of 12, I did a little bit of studying on it and analysis, and it looks like every year we're on a climb, on a linear basis. If you look at the line, we're climbing. So in the past 3 years, the index has climbed steadily, although we've had ups and downs. As a matter of fact, we've had 3 downturns in 3 years. It may not feel like it, but we've actually had 3 downturns. Every year we seem to set a new norm. So we inch up, that's the new norm. We inch up, the new norm. We've had 10 months in a row in the green, above the line, which is a really good thing for our industry. And the general feeling and predictions is that that will continue. I don't see it going below the line anywhere in the next 6 months. Of course, that's my prediction. We'll see what happens. On the merger front, I see this clock just moving so quick.
That's the problem.
It is a problem. Of course, mergers. Somebody's always buying somebody, always trying to buy up market share and take advantage of somebody else's strengths to make themselves better. I don't see it going away on the distributor side. The supply chain will continue to shrink. The bigger distributors will get bigger. Some of the smaller ones will go away, as we all talk about this on a regular basis. And so I think there'll be a lot more merger and acquisitions with the smaller companies, owners retiring and selling out. I believe that's going to continue. The companies that do specialty work are shrinking. The supply chain for that is shrinking. The lead times are going to get longer and longer for buying specials overseas. The secondary market can't keep up with the primary headers. There's no way they can stay in pace. And as business grows, they're really kind of picking and choosing what jobs they'll take. So I would expect pricing overseas to go up on specials.
Up next, Mr. Brian Musker. What's a snapshot of the current industry based on your perspective?
Well, I don't think you need a crystal ball for this. I think it's clear to everyone it's been a difficult few months. We had crippling strikes at the ports in the West Coast, and that's seriously altered the supply of some things. We've seen that particularly. Brutal winter in the Midwest has slowed construction dramatically and all sorts of things. And the lower oil prices have had, an effect, some of it positive and some negative, depending on which industry you're in. The higher costs of healthcare premiums have led to a pretty serious degree of uncertainty in many companies. Strong US dollar, particularly in the last month or so, 2 months, has led to a problem with companies that export. The US dollar is overpriced, particularly at the moment. GDP grew at 0.2% for the first quarter. That's very low. Okay. Rising inventories contributed 0.74% to the GDP in the first quarter, and that's probably quite a lot, relates to what Bob was saying about inventories too high. And I think the shakiness of the euro at the moment, particularly relating to Greece, has had a really serious effect on a lot of long-term plans. I'm going to talk about the fastener industry at the moment as FCH season, okay? And FCH, we see the industry 1 degree removed from everyone else. We don't see any orders from customers. What we see is the panic when you have received an order and you need to fill it in a hurry. And about, 4 years ago, we started keeping statistics, quite detailed statistics relating to what people were searching for at any time of the day. Every single search, what type was it for? Socket head cap screw, was it a socket head set screw? And every single one for the last 5 years has been recorded anywhere in the world for us. We also record in detail not only what people are searching for, what items are they actually looking at to get the detail, the info, and how they're going to contact that guy. We have millions and millions of lines of statistics relating to people changing what they're looking for from month to month. So we've got a lot of statistics, and what do they really indicate? Well, over the last 4 years, certainly, what we call our drill down numbers are pretty good match to sentiment of the industry. Well, overall, with the exception of a single month in April last year, our numbers are sort of flat. They're flat. But it's the industry, to me, looks like it's in a wait-and-see mode.
The exquisitely youthful Ryan Kertis.
So I'm going to start off by saying something that everyone in the room might not hear that often. I think right now the fastener industry is an exciting place to be. No, I honestly really think so. Seriously. Within 3 years, the industrial fastener market's predicted to be around an $81 billion marketplace. So when I first started in this industry, everyone would ask me, why do you want to do this? You could do anything. You could do pharmaceuticals. You could do marketing. You could do this. You could do that. And I think that the fastener industry is one of the most under-acknowledged industries out there. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in that. I'm saying that because there's a real marketplace and we're selling real product and there's real money to be made. I feel like we're in this transitionary phase, whether that be with technology, with the old technology coming out and new technology coming in, and with personnel coming in. I think there's an increased awareness of the importance of fastener training in our industry too. As mentioned just before, new entrants are arriving into our industry and we have to train them. There's going to be a personnel gap and training is going to be the key to shorten that gap.
Cool. Thanks for that. Keep that squawk box warmed up, though, because you're up first in the next topic area, which is what will drive the fastener industry during the coming 6 to 24 months? Again, combining various trends that we probably have. What you heard was a small slice of what happened at this year's North Coast Fastener Association Distributor Social. That was back on May 15th. It was great to see everybody out there. And Brian, congratulations. You did a great job on the panel.
Thank you.
Bob Baer and Ryan Kertis were also on the panel. And I had several people come up to me afterwards. And by and large, it was just a very positive reception. So once again, congrats on that. We're going to talk about that during this segment. Joining us on this conversation, it's the NCFA president, Mr. Marty Nolan. Hey, Marty.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Marty, how you doing, matey?
I'm doing good, Good.
Been a while since we had you on the program.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you have a lot of good guests, so it's fun to listen to. And, I just figured a lot of people have a lot of good things to say, so I like to listen to your program. I don't necessarily need to be on it to enjoy it.
Point taken.
But being on it's better.
Appreciate you being here. Also appreciate the good work that you and the whole board of the NCFA did on putting this year's event together. You kind of morphed the event into what you were calling a summit, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, it was trying to fill the whole day rather than kind of just the evening, and it worked out really better than I would have expected. The NCFA board is made up of a bunch of people that bring ideas to the table, and then they just run in a direction when they have an idea and do all the work and come back with it done. And really couldn't think of having a better board to work with. They're just so helpful and creative. It's, and I, of course, am the one who gets to come be on your radio program and talk about things, but Ryan Long of Branham Fastening came to me a month before and said, "What do you think of a golf simulator inside the facility at the Distributor Social?" Like, I think it sounds wonderful, and he set it all up. We used it to raise some funds. That's a good example of people just coming up with ideas and doing all the work. And I guess in some ways I get some of the credit for putting on this great event when really there's so many people that do so much good work. It's a really good group.
Yeah, that was really well attended. That golf simulator. A lot of people were having some fun in that net cage.
Yeah, it was nice for me because I could really shoot poorly and I didn't have to go chase it. So that was nice. It came right back.
Right. There's lots of benefits to that, okay?
Well, we talked quite a bit about the social during our opening segment. We had Frank Devito on the program, and so I think we did a pretty good job of covering what went on. What I really wanted us to talk about during this segment is the actual panel discussion. So once again, we had a discussion, and it was 3 panelists, and each panelist had 6 minutes to cover 3 topic areas. And this was a lot of fun because I threw out a whole bunch of topics and I gave the panelists several weeks to think about what they were going to say. So it wasn't all off the cuff, and a lot of good research was done. 3 very different perspectives, and the conversation was fast-paced and I thought very interesting and informative. The first topic area, where is the fastener industry today? The second topic area, what will drive the fastener industry during the coming 6 to 24 months? And topic 3, this was the crystal ball question, and we had a lot of fun with it. What trends will most affect the fastener industry during the coming 5 to 10 years? How will they impact us?
And you definitely had to get your crystal ball out and polish it very carefully for that one.
Which you did.
One of my observations of the panel, and again, Eric, I applaud you on recruiting the 3 panelists. It wasn't people that you see on every panel every year talking about the same topics. It was really three individuals who haven't been on panel discussions too much, which was kind of refreshing. And another thing that really struck me was, the topics were very broad for them to comment on, but the commentary that they each brought was really fresh, and it wasn't the same old retread topics that sometimes get brought up. What are mergers and acquisitions going to do to the industry? Who's going to buy who? And there's just certain topics that, again, they're valid, they're good, but I see association after association talk about certain things, and this, I don't know, I'm not seeing everybody else's panel discussions, but this one really hit on some unique notes, and you were mentioning that you had some good feedback. We had John Wachman from Fastener Training Institute come out from the West Coast, and at the end of it, he turned to me and said that was the best panel discussion I've been to. And John's a great guy, so that meant a lot. And I agreed with him. I thought it was very good.
That's great to hear. The official billing, as I first wrote it, was as follows. During a fast-paced lightning round style panel discussion, 3 of the industry's deepest thinkers will share their perspectives on 3 important trends now emerging in the industrial fastener industry. So, you think it lived up to that billing, Marty? It's a little lofty.
No sense. You might as well be lofty. If you're going to bother, you might as well aim high and see if they meet the expectations. But I really do think each one of them could have carried a panel discussion on their own. I mean that sincerely. And I told a couple of them, if I didn't say people, well, I mean it. I think, but individually, they all had unique perspectives, and they all came out. And there was some overlap of topics that was, that's going to happen because you ask them a series of questions. But each one brought a little different twist on it.
Yeah, you mentioned the people you don't normally see on panels. Well, you should have mentioned that they're people who studiously avoid them normally, okay? And got corralled into them.
Well, that's a good thing that you overcame that aversion, and we're very flattered that you made the North Coast Fastener Association your guinea pig, because you did a good job.
Now, having said that, we're going to be doing a redux of that panel discussion at Fastener Tech 15, or 2015, I guess. And so I kind of wrestled with how do we present this. I do have a recording of the discussion, and I'm going to publish it at a later date. I got to do a little polishing to it. I didn't want to let it go, though, before Fastener Tech, because I want to put enough out there to kind of get everybody's attention and hopefully get some interest built for the Redux without giving it all away. And I know it'll be a little bit different from the first rendition, but that's the way I thought we're going to do it. So I think Brian and Bob, it took them a little persuading to do it, but one guy who was gung-ho from the word go was Ryan Kertis of Stelfast. I mean, he has a message and he is unabashed. What did you think of Ryan's overall message, Marty?
Ryan is a bright guy, and he's very articulate. And, you know, you might be interested to have him on because he represents the millennials, as, you know, him being the president of the Young Fastener Professionals Group. The guy is just flat out a smart guy as well, and his observations went way beyond just talking about being a young guy. But I love some of his discussion, describing millennials. And it's common sense, but when someone puts it, you know, in a point-by-point presentation, it makes you stop and think. And, you know, one of the things that came up from a couple of the panelists was the need to have an online presence, and it has to be, you know, interactive and things like that. But Ryan brought the human side, the personal side, and he said, you know, I wake up in the morning to my phone. I get on there, I order clothes. Everything I do is off my phone, and there's a bunch of me coming. And a third of the workforce, you know, is made up of people like me, good or bad. This is what you got. And, you know, at the end of it, I think he did a great job representing his age group or his demographic. But when you listen to him and you realize these young people have been on computers their entire life, they're raised on them, they're used to them in their everyday life, and that's what's in our workplace right now. That more of that is coming. But he also, one of the other things that stuck with me really strongly, he described millennials, and some of it was, you know, positive, and he mentioned a few negative things that get, you know, attributed to them. But one of the things that really stuck with me was millennials like to know where they fit in a process. So you can ask them to do a grunt job at a beginner level. They still want to know how that affects the outcome. How is this important? You make me do this menial job, perhaps. Where does it fit in the whole operation? And that, you know, he described that's enough. They want to know how what they are doing fits in the total success. And if you can do that for a millennial, according to Ryan, you can get some loyalty and you'll get them interested in it. Just don't ask them to do something and don't give them a reason why they're doing it. That's not that interesting to them. I found that pretty educational for a lot of companies, I think.
But don't you think that if you were to cut 40 years off any of our lives or our ages, that's probably how we were at that age, okay? I mean, don't you think that's, mate, we've just forgotten that's what it's like to be a little bit younger. You like to know what's going on.
Yeah, I thought something similar, Brian. I mean, every generation that comes along thinks they're
unique.
Yeah, and
we did too.
Exactly. I mean, I don't have any kind of a problem with that, but he articulated it, and so we'll just take it on face value. But I like what you were saying too, Marty. This is the first generation. I mean, they don't even know what a 386SX computer is. They've had Pentium or better for their whole life, and I'm probably dating myself there too. But how does it feel to be a legacy employee, boys?
Yeah, I know. I don't like it at all. Yeah, that's not too good. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't hold any punches back. I mean, I know
Ryan.
Yeah, well, I know he wasn't trying to to intimidate, but I think a few people were looking around the room.
Shit, who else is one?
A lot worse words he could have used than legacy employee, and I was happy he used a nicer one than what he could have called me. So I took it as a positive.
Another thing I took away from the conversation was from Bob Baer's comments. He's done a lot of thinking about and working with the Fastener Distributor Index.
Yes, he has.
And we greatly appreciate that. Hopefully over time he'll continue with that. And the index, the FDI, it's kind of coming into its own, don't you think, Bri?
Well, I think it's relevant. It's interesting. I was discussing the subject with another distributor in Cleveland last week, pointing out that, it is a relevant number. And if you are looking at your own sales and you realize they're totally different to what the FDI number, you've got to work out why. It's a good measurement of what the industry is doing. My only wish is that we could convince more people to actually put a little bit of effort into actually, being part of it. If we had hundreds of people doing it, the numbers, to my mind, would be really interesting.
Yeah, that's a great point. Everybody's got a survey to sell these days, so
Yeah.
it's got stiff competition, but I think FDI is worth
problem. I know. And if you are looking at the number and thinking, maybe this is useful, then you should be part of it. It's the old story of the little red hen. No one wants to do the work, but they want to actually look at it. Well, Bob Baer is one of the ones who's doing the work, okay?
Yep.
I wish we had lots more like him.
I agree with you. I think the index is very good. I think it's a great starting place. I think if people knew what they could get from it, that they would participate more, and it would be really a better indicator, with more participation. Something I like, Brian, that you brought up was you referred to the drill downs on Fastener's Clearinghouse and how you can kind of monitor or track activity in the marketplace based on the number of drill downs. And that was interesting, and the way you described it was easy to follow. And I realized, this is your personal information, it's proprietary, but I almost think it'd be an interesting thing for you to add on your website or on the Fully Threaded website is tracking your drill downs, tracking activity, and see how that corresponds with this, FDI as well. Because I think both are just indicators of, are we busy right now? I know a lot of people started the year good, slowed down maybe March or April, and everybody's scratching their head a little bit about activity.
Yeah.
A lot of publications say that the next, half the year should be very, very good, but you're always wondering what other people are seeing, and, something you might want to work on is publicizing what you're comfortable publicizing on the data that you see.
Well, good point, Marty. The truth is we do that. On the FDI survey site, there is a link that says check history or something like that, view history, and that shows you the history of the FDI index, number, and underneath it shows you the history of total drill downs on FCH.
Yeah, it's a derived number, though. It's not a raw number, but it provides a benchmark.
Right. It's a modified number, but it's an indication. What's interesting is that, in my view, always was that the number, total drill downs, should be about 3 or 4 weeks out of step with the FDI index, But I have not really been able to prove that. It should be out of step with it. But it's like the FDI index, distributors index, it should be out of step with the PMI. It should be that the FDI index leads the PMI by a few weeks. That's what it should be in my mind,
And shame on me for not having known about that on your site, but I think there you go. Go stick my foot in my mouth. But your total participation on your website and on your site has got to be substantially higher. A lot more people participating in Fastener's Clearinghouse than are doing the FDI. That's why I think it's also your raw information is going to be a lot more inclusive, at least at this point, I would guess.
Yeah, and you're right. You are right. Okay.
You're sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine.
And it feels great.
Yeah, I just have to work out how to become a gold miner. Then it'll feel great.
No more lucrative alternatives.
That's us.
I know. I've heard that on your show.
Thanks for pointing that out, Marty.
Stunning lack of more lucrative alternatives.
Right.
Yeah, some of those will never get old, will they?
No.
I was also interested to hear, getting back to Ryan's comments, he pointed out several websites that he regards as preeminent in the industry. One of them is the newly retooled Hudson Fastener site. Have you had a chance to go out there and knock around out there, Marty?
I have. I was somewhat embarrassed because Chris and Lisa are friends of mine, and I hadn't spent much time on their site, even though they had sent it to me, until Ryan brought that up in the panel discussion. And Chris Young was there, and I mentioned I was going to get on there, and I have. And it's interesting because it is so simple. As simple of a site as I've seen. And again, I'm not a distributor, so I'm not out there trying to buy fasteners, and I'm not sure if it's more, I think it's more end user oriented anyways, but yeah, they made it simple as could be, and it was very, very good. So I did, since that comment in the panel discussion, I did get on their site and poke around on it, and I've known them for a long time, and I know that they have worked very, very hard, and they told me a few times that this is coming down the road, this is coming, so good for them. They got it published, and it's worth taking a look at for sure.
And it's very hard to try and produce a new website along with the running one you already have.
Gee, why do you say that, Brian?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a problem we've faced for the last 5 years.
Well, congratulations to Hudson for pulling that one off.
Yeah, I did notice Ryan's list of websites.
I guess you could summarize his overall message, which I guess isn't entirely new or unique, but it's get online or go away.
Right. Yep, that's true. And we have said that, for the last 8 years, incidentally, because when we started off FCH, the view was that we were crazy because no one would ever bother using the web. Okay? I think that's twice I may have said that.
Twice?
Or 1,000 times.
You guys both kind of commented that, the other comment I made about Ryan, about how to integrate the millennials and let them feel part of the process, tell them how what they're doing fits in. And you both said that at that age you probably felt similarly if you were going back in time. But I will tell you, I run into people every day who get frustrated with employees and make comments to me like, they have a job, they're supposed to show up and do that job. That's what they get out of it. They've got a job. Shouldn't they be happy that they have a job and then I'm paying them for it? That's a valid point. But again, I just think you'll get certain type of people with that approach and a different type of person with approach if they do really think as Ryan described. So
right.
Not to backtrack, but I thought he had some very interesting different comments that were somewhat unique.
Right. It might be that this is a little more prevalent in the fastener industry. I mean, personally, if I ever had a boss that in my working life who ever thought like that I would have not stayed employed by them for very long at all. I had good bosses who were inspirational for most of my bosses.
Well, you're very fortunate there, Brian.
Yeah, I know. And that's what everyone deserves. That's what bosses are meant to, inspire their employees to do good things. So I think what Ryan's hoping is correct. That's what you want. Doesn't always happen. And the guy who thinks you're lucky to be paid is, that's on the wrong end of the spectrum for us, I think.
Right. Well, one area where there was a severe divergence of opinions, we talked about this offline, Brian, was the advent of artificial intelligence and self-driving cars and self-aware distribution systems and that. And our youngster on the panel isn't sold on that whole idea. So the legacies in this case are, are kind of counting on a future that's really going to shift things technically.
Well, some of it is because in our working life we've seen dramatic changes in everything around us. From crappy TV to cable and all sorts of things. There's been a lot of changes that we've seen that have affected everything that we do in our life, working and at home.
Oh yeah. No, I remember when I upgraded from a 96 baud to a 28.8 modem. Changed my life, man.
Oh, I know. And then you got up to, of course, if you're a little earlier than that, it would have been a 300 baud dial-up that you could hear the beeps on.
Yeah. One of the other points that you made, Brian, when you were on, and again, I don't know if you're including this as part of your little segment, but you went down a list of how many orders have been placed on Amazon in the last minute. And you gave a series of, statistics letting us know how much business is being done on the internet. And for us legacy employees, that's a stunning number. For Ryan, his age, that's like, yeah, duh, of course. So you're right. I don't know if he has the same ability to realize the changes that some of the legacy people have seen and are amazed at it much more than he might be. So when you start talking about things like that, it's very interesting that he wasn't that sold on it, didn't really resonate with him. And I think all the other people our age were like, we're going to have drones delivering, kegs of bolts to our customer, and we're not even going to touch it. It's going to pick it up at the supplier and deliver it. We aren't even going to touch the thing. And, he might look at it and say, boy, that's ridiculous. And the three of us might say, I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, I know.
So,
well, we have.
Yeah, we absolutely. On a daily basis.
Right. So I think that's...
one other topic that just, I had a couple notes I looked at. Just one of the topics that I don't think about that much, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in our industry that do it on a daily basis, was coding. And I think Bob Baer brought it up, and this might be, from the topic of what's coming down the road. But he just said without hesitation, we just have to have better coatings. And he mentioned hydrogen embrittlement.
Yep.
And it is funny because my entire career, hydrogen embrittlement has been an issue and a topic. And I just celebrated 29 years in the industry. I'm on to my 30th. And it's still an issue, and I still have customers, not wanting to put plating on a socketed cap screw, and so on and so forth, looking for alternate coatings. And I just, a lot of panel discussions, you're still talking about the same old topics, and that came up. I just thought, that's an interesting topic. If someone does that well, they'll make a lot of money.
Had we had a panel discussion and the subject of hydrogen embrittlement was not broached, I would have felt like it was overall a failure.
Yeah, because Eric's
I
life
knew
is,
that.
Eric's life's
I
driven by
wanted that to
hydrogen
get in there. It can't
Eric's
be an
always
episode
worried.
of Fully Threaded without that topic.
Exactly.
No, I know. Yeah, thank God. Okay, there's something that's constant in
now
life.
it's complete.
Congratulations on going on 30 years, by the way, there, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey.
It's an accomplishment.
I think I'm getting the hang of it.
I think you're doing better than that. How can people get in touch with you online, Marty?
Well, they'll just have to go through you guys. I don't want to be giving my name out everywhere. It's a secret. Can I add, it's funny how I found out. I knew that my first day of work was in 1986, and I knew it was the Columbus Fastener Show. And I wrote a note to Mike McGuire and said, I know this was my first day of work. What day in May was the first Fastener Show? Or no, not the first Fastener Show, but the Fastener Show in that year. And he wrote me a nice note back saying, congratulations, your first day of work was May 19th, 1986. So I thank Mike McGuire for looking that up for me.
Oh,
nice
cool.
of him.
Yep.
Well, for anybody really interested, all they have to do is go out and do a search online for RL English. You operate out of the Cleveland, Ohio area, and rep of many fine lines.
Yes.
Sure do appreciate once again, Marty Nolan, that you invited us to do this panel for the North Coast Social, the 7th annual, and hopefully we'll get a shot at another one someday. For now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be reduxing this whole thing in Chicago in June. After that, we'll get a recording of the Cleveland event out online. I'd like to thank also Gary and Andy Graham of National Threaded Fasteners. They were instrumental in getting this recording together, and always great to see those guys.
And Andy
absolutely
was there with his camera at all times.
I will point out too, if the North Coast does have a Facebook page, which it is a place for pictures, and there's a bunch of pictures from the whole day's events, from the Fastener Summit, the different places we went. Appreciate all the helpful people from ND Industries and from Element, and we had. Well, you probably already went through all this on your program, but we really appreciate them. Kevin Reidel from NFDA, and of course you two, as well as the other panelists. We appreciate everybody helping out and making the event what we thought was a very good, and look forward to doing another one.
Yeah, my only reservation is that, as it turned out to be, and everyone had warned me, that I'm far too wordy to be able to talk about any subject in 5 minutes. So we had to extend out to 6 minutes, and even that was a problem. And I had noticed that Bob Baer was having a similar problem to me, trying to condense some really erudite comments down to fit in the right time span. It's hard.
Well, it was a challenge, and I threw a lot of topic material at you guys. You all did a great job with your research. You surprised a lot of people, entertained, informed. It was great, and with that, I think we'll bring this exercise in mutual self-love to a close.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marty Nolan.
Self-admiration.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the president of that society.
Thanks a lot, guys, and we look forward to doing it all again real soon. And we'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Yes.
Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio. It's Fastener dog-approved talk radio for the fastener industry.
How do you make the top name in packaged fasteners even better? Combine it with one of the best-known names in the fastener business. Announcing that Titan Fasteners is now a proud part of Lindstrom. For more than 50 years, the Titan name has provided distributors with experience, technical expertise, and full customer support in every package that's shipped. For fastener needs in in-plant maintenance, industrial and construction, MRO and automotive, fleet, farm, building and grounds. Available by the box, keg, or pallet. Titan means packaged fasteners, and Lindstrom means choice, flexibility, and value. And together, we now offer more than 133,000 SKUs. For value-added fastener solutions in metric or inch, turn to Lindstrom and Titan Fasteners. To learn more about Titan Fasteners, visit titanfasteners.com. Lindstrom, by any measure. To speak with a sales representative, call 1-800-789-8112.
Looking for packaged fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com, featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in packaged quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South, and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, the parts done right.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems, some with the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSqueakWell.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQL.
Yes, with InSequel, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSequel, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
Hey guys, this is the one and only Rebecca Day of Exact Industries, and you're listening to my online fasting soul brothers, Brian and Eric, on Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you. The online fastener party bungalow. Well, I guess it's not all that bad being a legacy.
Well, are you becoming used to that view? I haven't quite got used to it yet, actually.
Well, you could have called this geriatric or dinosaurs, At least you get a crack at cheap seats at the movies as long as you don't mind going by 2 p.m.
Right. There are some benefits. I'm not that many, though, okay?
Well, as we mentioned, we look forward to reduxing the panel discussion. This time we'll have a little bit of a change up in the panelists, but I think it's going to be great. That, again, is happening June 9th at 8:30 over there in Rosemont, Illinois. Go to fastenertech.com for details, everybody.
Right, and it's also 1 month further on, too.
Correct. So we'll have more insights, and also a couple of you will have had already an opportunity to refine your presentation a little bit, plus one new guest in the mix.
That'll be good.
Yes.
And I'll still be challenged trying to work out how to cut the wordiness down a bit.
Well, there's so much to say. You've got a lot of experience to draw from.
Well, Bob had a little bit of trouble in that respect too, but not as much as I did. But he was, we both had our phones out ready to time ourselves so we could work out when the 4 minutes was up and 5 minutes. Bob was very good at using his mindset there, and I didn't use it. Okay.
Well, it's kind of a new device for you.
Yeah, it is, really.
Well, you all did a great job, and thanks so much to you. Also like to thank the guests on today's podcast. They were of Solution Industries, Frank Devito, and of RL English and the NCFA, Mr. Marty Nolan. Of course, Carmen Vertullo had the Fastener Training Minute, and Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International Magazine had the Fastener News Report. He was joined by Mr. Paul Tiffany, president of the NFDA. Thanks all.
Yes, thank you.
The montage of our panelists at the NCFA Social, once again, included Bob Baer of Abbott Interfast, Ryan Kertis of Stelfast, and the incomparable co-pilot of Fully Threaded Radio, Mr. Brian Musker.
And speaking of co-pilots, on my way to the NCFA event, I stopped at Dayton, Ohio at the Air Force Museum, an amazing place to go and visit. Okay? Well worth a visit.
Well, you are quite the World War II aircraft buff, and I know you had nothing but good things to say about that. We should actually do a little bit of investigation and wrap that into a full segment.
It's really amazing. I've been to a few museums in Tucson. Your father took me to one, and in the Imperial War Museum. But this one is all enclosed, and so the planes are not really degrading, and it is an amazing building.
Dayton,
amazing
Ohio.
Displays. Yeah, Dayton, Ohio. It's at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and it's worth a visit. And I personally have been waiting to get there for about 30 years. It has one plane that I believe there's only one or two left in the world that my father flew in the Second World War.
Well, I know you had a great experience there. You sent me a few photos of yourself standing in front of that plane, and I'm glad you had that chance. So you killed 2 birds with 1 stone on this swing out to Ohio.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
I'm going to tell everybody about one other stone that fell into place on this visit right after I thank our sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio. The title sponsors are Stelfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stelfast. Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Trinity, for parts done right. And Lindstrom, and the Lindstrom family of companies, now including Titan Fasteners. Lindstrom, by any measure. Fully Threaded is also sponsored by NCFA Software, Buckeye Fasteners, ND Industries, Fastenal, The Worth Group, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Thanks all, and thanks to all of you for listening in. We couldn't do it without you either. After all, what would be the point?
Yes.
Get with us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also out there on Twitter under the handle Fully Threaded. We're looking forward to seeing everyone out at Fastener Tech this time around. That's happening in Rosemont, Illinois. Our Fandango starts June 9th at 8:30 a.m. Please attend. If you haven't checked out one of our panel discussions before, we always try to make it entertaining, informative, and engaging.
Right.
I'll be heading up to northern Wisconsin to fish with our good friend Joe Poplinski of Worth and our recent FTR guest, Mr. Mark Strangquist. And we'll be coming off the water and getting right over to Fastener Tech, and that is something I'm very much looking forward to, Brian, in terms of killing multiple stones on the trip. And as you were mentioning, you visited the airline museum when you were coming out here for the panel discussion, here being the Cleveland area. And we had an opportunity to hit the water. And I wanted to update everybody on our ongoing 2015 muskie hunt, because last time we reported on this, you had outdone me. Well, I'm pleased to announce that we are tied for the season now. We both put a nice fish in the boat, because when you were here with me, you netted a really beautiful fish out of our local lake. And I tell you, I was just thrilled.
Yeah, it was a very nice fish. And came on a lure. I don't really like fishing at top water. Eric's very good at that. I don't like it. I don't like getting the fright when they jump out of the water at the last minute. So I prefer to cast. But you've had a lot of success on that, and it was a very nice fish.
Well, I do cast them, Brian.
I know it's different.
Well, it's a beautiful thing when that tail starts spinning and it's just turning and turning. And I guess in one way it's a lot like the screw of the fastener industry, which never ceases.
Turning and turning. It sounds like this intro to one of these daily soap operas.
Well, it could be, but in this case, it's our way of putting episode 93 of Fully Threaded Radio in the can. What do you say?
Oh, yes, I do. And make sure you come back next time, folks. Look forward to seeing you again, okay?
We certainly will. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Look forward to seeing everyone out at Fastener Tech, and we'll talk to you next time.
Till then.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.